Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This is my city, yeah, this is my team. If you talking and talking me nice, I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm champion. The game is in trouble, I've been in my depth for the piece of the puzzle, I got it for real. Still keep me going, I wake up and hustle, you won't see me buckle, I've been in the field. Man of the town, you been in your fields, I'm adjusting this crown. Call me your majesty, either that or your tragedy, we shutting everything down. I've been hot like somebody put a candle on them. Off top, I don't really stand opponents, this mine, the moment is run out and start a bunch of pandemonium. More game, I got some, the skill is bar one, y'all done, the game in the coffin. Referee screen recipe, so think twice if you next to me, it's West. This ain't no regular thing, I came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good afternoon. Once again, welcome to One Ass Cheek. 3 toes. It's not 2 toes like Huddle Sports is pressing out there. It's 3 toes. 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm your host, BSTRILLA, and I got Nate the Great on here as well. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and a great afternoon. We are going to be updating what happened on this weekend, what's going to go on today. But first, we're going to get into some Pistons basketball for the Detroit folks. Pistons beat the Pelicans 136-130 without Cade Cunningham and Tim Hardaway Jr. But Pelicans were also without Zion Williamson. That's something new for them. Ron Holland chipped in 14 of his career-high 26 points in the fourth quarter to help aid the Pistons' victory. Also key in the win, the Pistons turned 17 Pelican turnovers into 26 points. That's probably basically the reason why they won that game, because they did have a lead at halftime, but the Pelicans did play pretty good. They had a 7-point lead in the third quarter, and that's when the Pistons turned on the juice. In NCAA tournament. Okay, Brent. How you doing today there, Brent? Good snow-covered afternoon from the lake shore, huh? I don't get any snow. Sun did come out for a minute. And Big Dan. What's going on, Big Dan Davis? Yep, Ron Holland did go into the beast mode for the Pistons. He certainly did. Also, as the NCAA tournament turns, your number 2 seeded Spartans helped Tom Izzo become the 4th winning coach in NCAA tourney history by beating the number 10 seeded New Mexico Lobos 71-63. The Paterno family suffered its second exit in as many days after Rick Pitino, Richard's father, lost to Arkansas on Saturday. MSU will play the number 6 seeded Ole Miss Rebels on Friday. Go Sparty. Michigan beat Texas A&M on Saturday to advance to a showdown with number 1 seeded Auburn on Thursday. So Auburn and Michigan will be tussling on Thursday. Michigan State will be tussling with Ole Miss on Friday. So maybe they might have a Michigan versus Michigan State. I doubt it, though. I think Auburn's going to beat Michigan. But, we can always hope. Anyway, we got Nate the Great on here. Hey, on over the weekend, I think this was like last week, Shaq said something about the Pistons that I think is just because he was salty about it. But he said he don't pay attention to the Pistons. And I'm trying to figure out, dude, you work on a network where you have to pay attention to all the basketball teams. So how come you are being salty? You watch the Pistons. The Pistons are one of the biggest stories in the NBA. but you haven't seen them. Come on, man. You're just being salty because you got your ass whooped in 2004 by a bunch of quote unquote flunkies. Don't even try that, Shaq. I love you, man, but dude, you off kilter on that one, bro. That's just
it's
hilarious.
disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful. Just disrespectful. So how'd you like the games during the weekend there, Nate?
Not too good, man. My Aggies lost to the Michigan. It is what it is. Shout out to Michigan. Shout out to Michigan State. I'll probably be rooting for both teams now that the Aggies are out to hopefully either go all the way or get to the Final Four. It's going to be tough for both. Michigan's got Auburn. Auburn's a tough team, but Michigan does have that size, which helps. And Michigan State's going to play Ole Miss. Ole Miss is quietly a very tough team to guard against. That's going to be a tough matchup. I don't know who's going to win those games. They could go either way. They really could. Yeah,
Michigan played some pretty good defense in the second half. Michigan State, Michigan State played some pretty good defense in the second half versus the Lobos. They did. They just turned it up a notch in that half. They had to because they were. It was near the end of the first half where they started pouring it on. They went on a 15-2 run in between the halves. So then they just started shutting it down, and that defense did step up. I don't necessarily think that it was one thing about Michigan State, about Tom Izzo's teams. He usually does have them playing really good defense.
Yeah.
And their offense isn't the greatest. They'll have a couple of guys that can score, a couple of guys that can score, a couple of guys off the bench that can score, and that'll basically get them winning some games in the tournament.
We talk about in college, coaching is a lot. Like Tom Izzo is a big name who's been in big games, and I expect him to do well. Dusty May, on the other hand, yes, his team last year went pretty far, but he's a bigger program now, and it's going to be interesting to see how he goes against a Bruce Pearl who's been with Auburn for 11 years. It's going to be interesting. The chess match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Michigan was another. They were another one of those teams that needed to be very good against Texas A&M, and Texas A&M was real good. Were real good too. They started off real good. They gave Michigan all they could handle in the first half. I think basically like I was thinking about 5 to 10 minutes. I don't even know how Michigan won the game. Tell you the truth, I ain't even gonna lie.
I already told you how they won the game. Freaking Michigan went on a 15-2 run when A&M couldn't score. The life depended on it, which is their Achilles heel all year.
Michigan was doing the same thing though, and they were turning the ball over. Well, it got better as the game went by.
The difference in the game was Gale could score. Nobody on A&M was scoring. Wade Taylor was pretty much a non-factor all game. The only guy that was similar was Payne, but they stopped going to Payne in the second half, which was stupid. The thing about A&M is A&M could be a really great team in the tournament. They just need shooting. Our coach is tone deaf to offense, and it just showed once again. So, anyways, kudos to Michigan. Gale really saved the day for the Michigan Wolverines. Like the guy was unstoppable and made all the plays needed. A&M had no answer.
What's funny about that too? Gale was a portal transfer from Ohio State. So Ohio State person came and saved Michigan. How about that? Because Ohio State can't win anything else. They got beat by the Michigan State women's basketball team yesterday as well. Picked Auburn to beat them, and I'm hoping
with young freshmen and talented freshmen. They also make good players out of the portal. Look at Calipari's team. Like two of their best guys are from the portal. Florida, one of their guys they got from Florida, Dusty May's team that went to play. So the portal's definitely, given these teams more stacked rosters. It's not just the players they recruited.
I think that's the thing. It evens it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a positive thing about the portals. It evens the playing field out a little bit more.
Right.
Like I said, we've seen Rick Pitino's team get beat by Arkansas, and Arkansas, that game was just awesome. That was a good ass game.
Yeah, it was
from top to bottom. Yeah, back and forth, and that's what you want to. That's what I want to see of these teams. I don't want to see blowouts every time. Not Arizona, but who Duke played St. Mary? Baylor, yeah. Baylor was in that game in the first half, and then they just got their ass kicked in the second half. It was over, like after the halfway mark of the second half. So I understand, Duke is a good team, but we're going to see coming up if they can beat that, because Arizona and Oregon, they were closely matched, and Arizona, turned it out on them. I think Arizona's got the experience. Oregon is a very good team too.
We talk about another portal player, Julian Love, who went from North Carolina to Arizona. I mean, the guy is just balling out for Arizona. Like, he is that guy who everybody's turning to, and the guy's a bucket. I mean, I think he had 29 points last night or something like that against Oregon. Like, that's good.
What's going on, Mad Yinzer?
I'm tired of these snakes on a plane.
What?
I'm joking, man. It's a line from a movie. It's a line from a movie called Snakes on a Plane with Samuel L. Jackson.
Snakes on a plane. Snakes on a plane. There's too many motherfucking snakes on a plane. Hey. But yeah. So I'm glad we got you here, Robbie, because we are going to be putting you as a focal point of some things here.
Yeah.
We were talking about this yesterday.
We got some topics for you, Robbie.
We got some topics for you, Robbie.
As long as it ain't about the Pirates, I'm good.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Even though
baseball ain't until Wednesday. What else? Let's just jump into that real quick. So is it imminent that Mr. Dark Side is going to be joining you guys?
Dark Side of the Moon.
What are his other options, right? Like
they got people out there. They got Joe Flacco. They got Tannehill.
Well,
no, I'm talking about what is Aaron Rodgers' other options? Like, in their
retirement.
49ers.
Like, he can. Do I think still sign Aaron Rodgers? I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed, but I'll say it's a strong possibility.
I'll say this. The fact that they missed the pro day for Michigan when they have big needs at some of those positions, and they were meeting with Aaron Rodgers, that says a lot to me right there. That they're either putting all their eggs in one basket, or they really believe that Aaron Rodgers is coming to Steeler Town.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think either way, even if Rodgers do sign, I still think the first round is still a quarterback. They go with the pick.
Yeah.
And I think if Jackson Dart is not there, I think Milroe. I think Milroe's going to be the pick.
Or you could go tackle. Like, you lost your left tackle to the Titans.
We got Broderick Jones. We're good. We're switching him back to left tackle. He was playing right tackle last season.
Well, then you need right tackle.
No, we got Troy Fontanu. We drafted the tackle last year. He was injured last year. He's coming. He'll be back next year. Troy, I can't say his last name. Fontanu. Yeah, we got Broderick Jones at the left, Fontanu at the right. The center will be Zach Frazier. The left guard is Spencer Anderson, and the right guard is and then the right guard will be Mason McCormick. Yeah,
your offensive line shouldn't be too bad as long as everybody stays healthy on that line. I don't think you guys got a lot of depth, but you do have a good front five. So let's see how that works out for you.
It's a young O line that can only get. They can either get great, get better, or what's the
Flatline.
worst that can happen? They don't work out. We draft more.
True.
But the Steelers offensive line coach Pat Meyer, like he does not. He needs to go. He's terrible with that O line as the coach.
Besides that point, probably replacing your offensive line coach, do you think they're going to draft an offensive line in the late round?
Late round, I'd say about fifth or sixth round. We'll get some tackles.
Yeah.
I think the first pick, the first pick is either going to be a D tackle or a quarterback.
So, B, can I break some news that I heard earlier?
Sure.
Tom Pelissero, one of the most renounced NFL insiders out there, he said that Brock Purdy wants Dak-like money. Like, he doesn't want Dak, like, he doesn't want $60 million, but he wants somewhere around the high 50s. So
I saw that
I think
earlier
now,
too.
if that's the case, I don't think that John Lynch is going to pay top. They're not going to pay top money to Brock Purdy, but I think that opens up Aaron Rodgers possibly now because he's from California and he's probably got family there, and I could see that happening now. So that do it,
Yeah. What do you mean, Aaron
because
Rodgers going
Brock
there
Purdy
instead
now
of?
is you got to think about like, we're not.
Whoops.
What was that comment?
At least he's got it on like a boop to come back in there. What were you saying again, Nate?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, they're not going to pay Brock Purdy top 50 or high 50 million a year. Like, they probably would just go with the cheaper Aaron Rodgers, especially because, he's from California, and he's got family there. So it would make more sense,
1 second, Brent.
So I think it puts more pressure on the Steelers to figure out if you're going to sign him or not.
So go ahead and answer that question here, Robbie.
Kenneth Grant, if he's there at 21, it's going to be Kenneth Grant from Michigan, the D tackle, or it could be Derek Harmon. I heard Derek Harmon from I forgot what college he plays for.
Aaron Rodgers going to Nate, you said Aaron Rodgers going to San Francisco?
I think it's a possibility because he's from the Bay Area, and the fact is, if Brock Purdy wants 50 plus million, they're not going to pay him that, and Aaron Rodgers would be a stopgap guy, and I guess they would just, I don't know,
they'd have to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, and move on from Brock Purdy. I don't know.
I guarantee you, not they draft a quarterback. Even if they draft a quarterback, if they sign Rodgers to a 2-year contract, they draft a quarterback. Rodgers isn't going to be the guy that's going to be teaching him anything.
Right.
Let's be real, man. Outside of Shanahan's system, Brock Purdy is not a number 1 quarterback.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean we agree on that, but my thing to you, Matt, is that now the Niners are in the game. If that's the case with Brock Purdy, so it puts more pressure on the Steelers to hurry up and figure out if they're going to sign him or not.
They better sign him quick, because if they get rid of Brock Purdy, Rodgers is gone. He's going to the Niners.
Yeah, exactly, because he's from the Bay Area. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the Steelers need to stop playing around. I mean, and sign Aaron Rodgers.
First of all, you're looking at it
they don't want him.
Well, it's Aaron Rodgers is the one that's playing around. You're looking at everything as a
nostalgic thing. It's not nostalgic. It's business. There's nothing over there in San Francisco right now. All they got is Ayuk and Kittle. That's it. They ain't got nobody over there.
Rodgers is the one playing around. The Steelers offered the contract.
They still got players on defense. Okay, let me ask you a question, B. Whose roster are you taking right now? The Steelers roster or the Niners roster?
I'm taking the Steelers roster right now. They got more weapons.
See, I would take the Niners roster because I think the Niners defense still has pieces on them.
Their defense.
Kyle Shanahan's a hell of a.
Their defense is going to blow. They lost
I
a
mean,
whole
maybe.
bunch
I
of
mean,
defensive players. They've
but you
already
still got,
lost a whole bunch of defensive players.
but you can draft those players. You got still Fred Warner. You still got Nick Bosa.
But they ain't going to make an immediate impact. Now a defensive
Yeah.
player is not going to make an
Maybe. I mean,
immediate impact.
Well, we'd have to see. But the other thing is too, Kyle Shanahan is a hell of an offensive coordinator. We can all agree on that. And the fact
but
is,
they got
but
they got
Kyle Shanahan. Then
they got
He's
two
a good
players coming
offensive
back.
coordinator as long as he's got players to play with, and he didn't have that last year because he had a lot of them injured or just not wanting to play.
Offensively, they got two key players coming back from
San
injury.
Francisco right now, and I'm not buying the fact that Aaron Rodgers is just going to go there because he's from the Bay Area. That's not business.
I'm just saying that's one of the reasons he could go. I'm not saying that would be the main reason. I would take the Niners roster because you've got an offense: Kittle, CMC, Ricky Pearsall, Ayuk. That's more than what the Steelers have right now.
Yeah, but you got to take into account that they got two key offensive players coming back from serious injury.
Yeah, but I mean, still, you got an offensive coordinator that can work with him. Like, if he goes to the Steelers, who on the offensive side are you really going to be able to work with him on? You don't like the OC already. You've already said that, made that clear.
Now, Big Dan, just to answer your question, I liked them trying to get Rasul Douglas, but they already got two corners to fit a spot, so I don't know if they're going to actually sign Douglas, or they even need to have to sign Douglas.
For the Lions?
I really liked, because he's asking. They said the Belichick report, the Lions have listed the best fit for Rasul Douglas, but we've already signed Rock YINZER, and then we also signed Avante Maddox. So both of those guys right there are filling up a roster spot for the corners that we lost or we're going to lose. So I don't know. We got Rasul Douglas, dude. I don't think there's nobody's going to stop that secondary. I think that secondary is going to be beast.
I don't say this very often, but we have too much depth at the secondary.
Yeah.
Like, we are good. We're fine. Like, I am totally good with the guys we have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Big Dan. We have a full CB room, which is something, and we got upgrades of every of those cornerbacks that we signed was an upgrade. So that was the best thing. That was some of the best free agency dealings that I've seen so far from Holmes. But yeah, I mean, the drafting part is coming up here, and for the NFL, it's it's just about a month away. Wednesday will be a month away.
Yep.
We still as Lions fans, we're still trying to figure out who we are going to draft. Although the target is defensive end. I think everybody thinks that's apparent.
Everybody and their mother thinks defensive end.
Yeah. And the thing about it is you can assume that you can make a 75% chance of that going on with us, but you never know with Brad Holmes. You don't know what he's got up his sleeve, what's going on with that. I'm never satisfied. I'm never going to pin something by saying, they need to do this.
Brad always goes for the best player available, and sometimes the best player available is a need to. And I think that's what it was last year with Tarian.
Yeah, and Enos. But anyway, what about you? And you said you're going to go for a defensive tackle in the first round, Robbie?
If it ain't quarterback, it's D tackle. It'll probably be Kenneth Grant from Michigan if he's there.
Grant would be a good replacement for Cam Hayward.
Well, Cam Hayward's an end.
No, he's a tackle, dude.
No, in a 4-3, he would be a tackle.
I mean, he might play in, but he's more of a tackle.
No, he already said he plays end. Because the D tackle here is Keanu Betton's the D tackle here.
And I agree with you, Big Dan. I think that's if that happens, Brad is going to trade up.
Yeah,
get a good defensive end.
Yeah, 100%, man. He's not going to sit on his hands and let somebody else take a good end. And then you know he needs one.
Yeah, because don't forget
in the first round. I don't know about that, Brett. You might get a lot of people hollering about that one.
don't forget
we don't really need offensive linemen as much as we need defensive end.
I wouldn't mind an offensive line.
You wouldn't mind an offensive lineman in the first round.
No, Detroit got a good O-line.
I mean, I'll defend Brett in the sense that we do need a guard. And if there's a guard at 28, if the ends are gone and Brad doesn't trade up, I would take a guard. I've been on record saying that, but we definitely need an end for sure.
Well, my view to that is there's another position that needs to be filled before guard position needs to be filled, and that's the safety position. And they have some, we only got three safeties. We don't need a
starting safety, B. We need a starting guard.
We don't need a starting safety. Well, I mean,
you got
the safeties the safeties that are good are like, well, I guess they can get them with a second round pick.
We need a starting guard, man. Who's your starting guard right now on the team for next year behind Simo? Graham?
That's not a starting guard. That's a backup. You're talking backups.
I think Simo's going to start.
Simo's a starter, and Glasgow's going to start. So with both of them, yeah.
Are you okay with Glasgow going into next year?
As much as I have been for the last 3 years, I mean, it's got to be what it's got to be.
Okay. Well, fair. That's fair. I'm just asking.
But they could. I mean, they still can draft an offensive lineman, to back up. And we do need an offensive lineman to take over Glasgow's position.
Agree.
Provided that the guys that we have right now are ready to go.
Yeah. I think right now, if I was to say who the three guards would be possibly to be that opposite of Simo, would be Graham as the incumbent, because he's been a starter before. He wasn't great last year, but he's been a starter. Manu, I know a lot of people don't like that, but Philadelphia did it with Mekhi Becton. I think Manu you could try him at guard too. And Skipper. I think those are probably your three choices if you don't bring in a guard in the draft. Those three dudes. Or Nice. I could throw Nice in there too. I forgot about Nice. They like Nice a lot.
So they got enough. I mean, to tell you the truth, if they just bypass the guard or offensive line in general, they should be still fine if they believe in the guys that they have. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And Big Dan agree with you too. I think this draft is decently deep at edge and IOL. Edge should be my first choice, but I wouldn't be angry if Brad chose Gray Zabel in the first round.
Who's
if
that?
we stay at 28, that is offensive lineman.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think because here's the thing, trades are two ways. Like, we can say all day, oh, Brad, we want you to trade up to get this guy. But if they don't want to trade with us or the Lions aren't in love with a player, I don't want them to reach on a player and trade a player, reach just to get an end. Like, I think we can all agree on that. Like, trade a player for a player that you absolutely want and you see as a fit. Don't just trade up a player because the fan base is saying, oh, we need an end.
Well, he's going to listen to the fan base anyway. It's not about the fan base.
But what I'm just saying is like don't just trade up to just get an end. Like, trade up for a reason, and if you don't like the person or you don't like the player up there that are available, then that's where you look at other options. Maybe Malachi Starks at safety, like B said. Hey, young safety, bring him up, pair him up with Kirby and BB, and damn, you've got a hell of a safety combination. Or if there's a guard that you really like, take the guard. If there's the end,
isn't a Branch a safety?
Branch is a safety, Kirby's a safety, but we only have we still got Logan as a safety.
Yinz played that 3 safety system, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think, and that's why we're short at safety, because we only have to have 3 active safeties
Yeah,
The
'cause
Lions like to
year,
run a lot of free safety sometimes.
last year Yins had Iffy as the third safety, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he went to Miami.
Yeah.
So
Hey, there's DeMonte Kazi out there. Sign him. You're welcome.
I don't know about that one. But hey, Brett, this is okay. Edge, defensive tackle, IOL, and a receiver. I'm not. Like I said, it depends how you feel about the offensive line right now. I'd probably switch out the. See, the problem is defensive tackles run out in the second round too. That's gonna be weird how to draft. Yeah, he'll probably start.
It's kind of a drop off after the second.
You know who's out there that would fit the lines? Justin Simmons is a free agent.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. I would take him on a 1-year deal.
He's only 32 years old.
Yeah,
he ain't exactly old.
But see, you don't get that free agent to be a backup because you're going to be paying for him. He's not a backup. He's a starter for somebody. He ain't going to be a backup. So you're not going to be able to sign him because he's not going to be a backup. So you're not paying the money that you're going to be paying a free agent for him to be a backup. He's got to start.
At 31 years old, you think he wants to still be a starter?
That's what kind of money he's asking for.
Oh, okay.
Well, he ain't got no leverage because there's no other teams rushing out to sign him.
True.
So, he ain't got no leverage to ask for $10 to $12, $13 million for 1 year. You know?
He's got plenty of leverage.
You could probably get him.
Free agents always got leverage. You want to know why they always got leverage? Because it's a need. If some team needs you, they're going to pay that money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to play because they're not going to play. They'll sit there and collect whatever money they got left or whatever the case may be and wait until somebody late in the season gets them. That's usually what happens with the free agents too. Late in the season when you got all these injuries, somebody needs a free agent, bam, there they are, and they will pay out of pocket for them too.
I think you might hold out and see if there's an injury in training camp or something like that, and then they'll see the need.
All right, how about $6 million and I'll throw in a Baconator mill.
$6 million in a bag of Tootsie Rolls.
Be a hell of a negotiator, Matt Hatter.
Yeah, the Baconator. Who passes up on a Baconator mill? That's the best right there.
Oh, that fucking sucks, man. I had that shit. It was terrible.
Oh, I love the bacon.
I think
the commercials were better than the food.
Nate was talking about Brandon Sheriff as a backup too.
Sheriff would be a good plug and play, and you can still draft a guard later. I mean, or use one of the young guards you have to develop. Yeah, Sheriff would be an easy pick for me.
Mm-hmm. Will Hernandez ain't bad either, but I like Sheriff better.
I would take Sheriff first, and I would take Will Hernandez second. So maybe Brad's just waiting to see what the market keeps going with these guys that are still available. I'm sure he has them on their board.
I really like him to bring back Z, because that'll if he brought back Z, that's going to probably reset it, because a lot of people are assuming, and that means other owners or other GMs are assuming that the Lions are going to go after a DN in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they're going to be strategic about it. They say, well, if we're in the top 10 of the draft and the Lions are in the bottom 10 in the draft, they're going to want to trade up to get one of these decent defensive ends. Right. So what can we do?
Right.
But if he gets Z, he could probably still get a defensive end, but it'll be a surprise, basically, because now you don't know where he's going to go with it. Because you can't guarantee he's going to get defensive end.
I would go more with, you don't know where he's going to go with it. He would go best player available, and that would be, and if it's a need, it's a need. If it's not, then it's not. It's just like a Malachi Starks, like perfect example. Like if you re-sign Z and you draft Malachi Starks, you have just solidified your safety room for the next 5 or 6 years. And on top of that, Malachi Starks is very talented coming out of Georgia. I'm just saying if Kirby wants a huge amount of money and you're not paying, and you get to the table and you don't want to pay him, Malachi Starks is not a bad guy to pair him with B. That's all with BB. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you want to keep Kirby, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, at some point you can't overpay all these. You can't keep paying these players the top money on every position. You just can't do it.
Big Dan says that Brandon Sharif is stays healthy too.
Sure,
it could be a turn. Says it could be a turn off for Brad. He said he's joking, but
I mean,
Brad
at this point, if you don't pay him a lot of money, it's low risk, and you need a guard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a top pick in the draft back in the day, so he's got talent. And you got one of the best O-line coaches, so I would make that move.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things the Lions can do now, and they can either do a whole bunch of things or they don't have to do anything. Really, I think a lot of people and fans in general, the Lions, they get their panties in a bunch because they think that the Lions need to do something significant based on what happened last season in the first round of the playoffs. That really has nothing to do with it. So really what you're trying to tell me is, we got to have defense, and we know this. We knew that when we came into the game. Yeah. The problem is the offense had to cover for the defense, and Goff had a bad game. I mean, we can't do nothing.
We need to make the defense better. There's no doubt. We need to increase the defense. You make the defense better, but people coming back from injury is going to do that. Yeah. And if we just get a couple of more people to fill in the defensive end position, I think we're fine the way we are. I think, like I said, Brad did a very good job doing the back end of the defense really well. So yeah, we've talked about this off air. Like, the Lions have maybe 2 starting positions up for grabs. 2 out of the whole freaking 22 starters. That's pretty good. You look at other teams where they have like half of those starters not even figured out. We have pretty much all our starters figured out, except for that guard, one of the guard positions, and an end. Other than that, I think we're fine. We have the guys, and we have the depth now. Like, Brad's done a great job, man. He's solidified the linebacking room. He solidified the secondary room. And he's got the draft and still free agency to add to the D-line. So, hey, I'm good. He's doing what he needs to do. He's plugging in depth pieces now. We don't need starters. We got starters. We got plenty of starters. We need depth pieces. Everybody's been saying, Lions don't have depth. Okay, well, that's all Brad's been drafting is fucking depth. So get over it.
Walker.
Yeah, Deion Walker. Actually, he's 345. 6'6", 345. They got him listed here, Big Dan. But yeah, hey, if they can do that in the second round or whatever, I mean, there's, like I said,
he can come to Pittsburgh at 21.
Depending on what Brad does in the next coming 4 weeks before the draft, I mean, we can go anywhere in the draft and get people. We do need to think about getting a defensive tackle because DJ Reader isn't going to be here for long. He's long in the tooth. He should be about time to retire. So I mean that's the thing that we can look at. No, you got this big white hope for the Lopez, and I don't see that.
Well, you'll see. I'll see.
Okay, well, you'll see too when he ain't gonna do nothing.
The new scheme, B. It's a new scheme, new D-line coach. Yeah. Let's see what he does with his new D-line coach.
That's not a new scheme. Scheme stays the same. Same defense. It's just a different person calling the defenses.
No, it is.
Brett.
I'm saying
that's what I've been saying.
He's leaving a different.
Go ahead.
He's leaving a different scheme. Is what I'm saying. He's leaving a different team, different coach, different.
That's true too. That's really the reason why, Big Dan, that Mr. Hopeful over here about Roy. He'll come in there and be a backup along with the other defensive tackle that they got.
Yeah, but let's say this. Okay, let's just hypothetical.
Yeah, he'll be the.
Let's hypothetical this for a sec. Let's say that he comes in this year and he plays really good as DJ Reed's backup. Okay, he's impactful. He makes plays. Whatever. Yada yada. And next year, what's to say you don't move off of DJ Reed because he's gotten older and he's gotten more expensive, that you don't plug in Roy in that starting position, and you can still draft a tackle later too, because he's more of a fit in that system than any other tackle we have, because other than Broderick Martin, he's a big guy he's like a poor man's Vita Vea. Let's just put it that way. Like, when I watch him play, I see a lot of Vita Vea in him. Like, Vita Vea is not asked to rush the passer.
You
He's
forgot
an immovable
Levi,
guy.
though. Levi's in there.
But
And
Levi's more of a
that might be true
unless he
too.
gains
This
more
is
weight,
probably
more
the
of a
reason
trick
why
check
they
I would put behind Matt.
this is probably the big reason why Roy Lopez was signed too, because I'm thinking that the Martin experiment is getting to be old. It doesn't seem like he can get on the field. It's kind of. I hope this is not indicative of what Rakestraw is either, because Rakestraw was out there. I hope he can get on the field as well. And then, the biggest unknown is Martin. Yeah, I think that's the reason why they signed Roy Lopez. To tell you the truth, you might as well sign a veteran to take over a guy that's not developing correctly right now. Yeah, so I agree with that wholeheartedly. And when Nate comes back, it just says Nate's making Roy Lopez to be, the great white hype. I just don't see it. I mean, you did hear about him. I didn't know who the hell he was until they got him. I'm not going to be sitting there trying to pump up somebody that I don't even know, And he came from Arizona too. Arizona's like bad defensively, so I can't say whether he's going to be.
He's a depth filler. A depth filler.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's depth, and I mean, if he works out, he works out. That's good. That's what you expect from your depth players to be over and beyond, or you want your depth players to be over and beyond. But if he just does what his job is, he'll be fine.
Given DJ Reader's age, Detroit can go D tackle with the first round.
Yeah, that's true. But they gotta. I mean, at the same time, like I said, it depends on what they do in the next 4 weeks. They need a defensive end. They need a decent defensive end, either as a draft pick or getting Z back. Those are only two things I can see them going.
Thomas Darius.
Yeah, Zadarius. Yeah.
Wasn't he a head case? He was a head case for years, wasn't he?
No, he was good. He got 4 sacks. He had 9 sacks. He had 10
He
sacks
got
the whole season.
He got that custom Super Bowl ring before the playoffs.
I saw that.
Like,
yeah, he posted
bonehead
on Instagram.
move.
That's why I'm thinking he's not done with the Lions. He's still on there.
Bonehead move. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, he's a hopeful guy. We recruited him thinking that he could put us over the top. Once Aiden came back in the Super Bowl, you'd have 2 edges coming off and teeing off on people. So
I like Zadarius now that he's not with the Ravens anymore.
We definitely. I agree with you, B. We do need a starting quality defensive end for sure, because we have a lot of backups, right?
I mean, he don't necessarily have to be. He don't have to be Aiden Hutchinson. He just has to have the fear of Aiden Hutchinson. He can come in there and get Aiden.
The only one.
He could be like T.J. Watt and get like 17 sacks a season or something like that, and then hopefully on the other side that the guy can put up 5 to 10 sacks a season. And that'll be enough to get, fear on both sides of the ball. So you don't really have anywhere to, as far as an offensive line, you really don't know where to block.
Or to excite Yancer or piss off Yancer, we need our Alex Highsmith, because Alex Highsmith, well, he can say what he wants to say, but he's productive with TJ Watt together. Yeah,
Big Dan says, I do think Roy Lopez would be a good, decent depth signing. I'm just not sure he'll become a starter. I feel you on that one. Z Smith's a great player, coach on the field. Yeah, he is. I think the biggest mistake that we made, because we were trying to sign anybody and their mother at one point on the defense, was the Quan Alexander one. I don't know about that. That signing was kind of weird, but I mean, you're going off of his past history. I don't know. That was just weird. He obviously didn't play that well for Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh was the one that released him, wasn't he, Robbie?
Who? Zadarius?
Quan Alexander. No, Quan
Alexander.
Quan.
We didn't release him. He got injured, and we just let him walk after the season.
See.
He just always gets injured. That's the thing about Quan Alexander. He can't stay. He's always getting injured. He's good for maybe like 5-6 games a year.
Yeah, I hope not, Brent. I hope he's a possibility before the draft.
Don't get me wrong.
That would be nice.
When Quan Alexander's on the field, he plays great.
Oh, you got to be on the field. You know what our saying is. Best ability is availability. So if you being on the damn field, you can play. It's the same thing with Davenport. Davenport is a good player when he's on the field, but you got to be on the field. It's like a Jair Alexander. He could be good for 1 or 2 games, but if you're hurt the whole season, what the fuck is the point? You can get that production from a rookie corner.
Yep. If Quan would just stay healthy, I think we would have re-signed him.
Yeah.
Who?
And I think we would have re-signed him. Yeah. When he's healthy, he plays good. Quan Alexander.
We're talking about Quan Alexander because we re-signed him last year because we didn't have anything on defense, so we just were signing everybody. So, and he turned out to be a very huge disappointment.
I guess the injuries are just catching up to him at this point. You know,
could be.
I mean, we need a good complement to Aiden Hutchinson. That's why I brought Alex Highsmith or whatever his name is, Highsmith. Like, he's a good complement to TJ Watt. Is he a guy that's going to take over when TJ Watt's out? No, but he's a good complement to TJ Watt. We need that kind of complement. Like, we thought Z was going to be that guy. Obviously, he's not on the team, so we need to find that complement. You know, we need to find that guy that.
I think when TJ Watt is gone, that's when Tomlin decides to retire and go away.
Maybe.
I don't know. There's so many superlatives in the NFL about what could happen and what may happen or what will happen. It's hilarious right now because, you know, we're making assumptions about Mike Tomlin's coaching path this year.
Well, yeah,
if they lose, they'd have a losing record. They're going to get rid of him. I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to happen.
Look at Bill Cowher when he was there.
It would be interesting to see. It would be interesting to see what happens if he did have a losing season. Like what the fan base is thinking. Like what
the fan base will be pissed.
The front office,
but they'll keep him.
You know, it would be interesting to see because that's never happened. You know,
this is my say so. If you're going to fire Mike Tomlin, you better get someone good to replace him with. Like if we end up firing him, and I hear this stupid fan base saying Mike McCarthy should be the head coach, I am going to flip shit. I swear, man. I hate a lot of Steelers fans because they will say stupid shit like, "Oh, we should hire Mike McCarthy as HC." I'll smack a Steelers fan if they ever said that in front of me.
And Brent,
it'd be very hard to find a good coach like Mike Tomlin. Very hard.
If Mike Tomlin leaves, I want a young offensive head coach. No more defensive coaches.
And Brent, I'm with you on the respect for AG. Well, I mean, he didn't really have any defensive players to work with, but this is the reason why I knew he was going to be a good head coach, or he's going to be a good head coach, because he had those no-name guys, no-name defense out there playing and running through walls for him. And, you know, they did the best they can do with the less talent that they had at that time. So, I mean,
Sarah's got more patience than me, man. I would have pulled the contract and told Aaron Rodgers to screw off. I would have been like, "Oh yeah."
He did that. I mean, basically, they said, "You know, we have no more room for you and your shenanigans, Mr. Rodgers.
We're gonna go like this, bro.
Neighborhood.
We're gonna take your contract to a dark place. It's called a garbage can."
Right. And if Robbie gets his way, he'll kick that over too.
You know, I'll put it in there and kick it over with his personality. And then I'll look at Mason Rudolph and say, "You're the starter."
Your obsession with Mason Rudolph is scary.
We can do it. I believe in Mason Rudolph.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna tank. I mean, why not, right?
Well, he went to the Titans last year. I don't think the Titans suck.
Y'all suck.
What? 10-7? Don't say we suck, boy. Don't get me started. Hey,
Well,
hey,
by
I
Steelers,
will attack the Lions, man.
by
Don't.
Steelers,
I
by
will attack
Steelers,
Brian. I like you, but I'm about to attack the Lions here.
but like Steelers standards, y'all suck because Steelers are supposed to be better than that.
Ah,
That price franchise.
yeah.
7-7 ain't shit. That's a losing season in Steelers
No,
minds.
that's actually a winning season.
Well, I'm just saying. Y'all are expected to do more.
No, not really. Everybody picks it. Every analyst always picks the Steelers to finish third or fourth in the division and have a losing record.
Well, because you got Burrow and you got Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's a tough division to.
Like Colin Cowherd, he always picks us to finish like fourth in the division, and we always finish like second.
I would say fourth, but I would definitely say third. Yeah, because I think the Bengals are going to be good this year, and I think the Ravens are going to be good this year. So you are vying for the third or fourth spot.
But the Bengals, it's cool they can score points, but they can't stop nobody with that dollar store defense.
Still got the draft. We'll see what they do in the draft.
I mean, with that, I give this credit to Mason though. With Pittsburgh, he was 8-4-1. That's not bad. He played 8 games in 2019, and he was 5-3. That's not bad. That's Justin Field numbers right there. You know what I'm saying? So
I saw Mason play live when he played the Lions. Like he had
that was you're hanging on to that 21 season. Like that was
no. I'm talking about last year when they played for the Titans. I saw him play in Detroit. Like he was a starting quarterback for the Titans, and he played well in that first quarter, and then the defense figured him out. Like my thing is when you have two receivers that are very high strung and high emotional, if Mason Rudolph sucks ass, what are those receivers going to do?
Oh, I think any quarterback will suck ass with the Titans.
This is true.
But you're missing what I'm saying, Matt. Like he played well in that first quarter against us, and then they figured him out. Like that's all I'm saying. Mason Rudolph doesn't have anything special about him. Like defense.
The Titans. Let's see. We got a different offensive philosophy from the Titans. Like Titans, they didn't have no run game to protect them. You know, they didn't have no run game, and
yeah, I mean that's fair. But you also don't like your OC, so how do you feel confident that Mason Rudolph would do well in that system when you don't like your OC?
Well, I may not like my OC, but at least we had at least the Steelers will have a run game for Mason to hang on, so he won't have to drop back and throw like every play like he had to in Tennessee.
Well, outside of Warren, who else are you running? Who else is behind Warren? Because you let go of Najee.
We're probably gonna get a run back in the draft, but you acting like Najee was so great, man. Like he was only averaging 3.8 yards a carry.
Dude, Najee had over 1,000 yards on a bad O line.
That's because we force fed him the ball and got his 1,000 yards.
It doesn't matter, dude. He got 1,000 yards every season.
All you need is 50. All you need is 50 yards a game to get 1,000 yards.
Yeah, and that's why most running backs don't hit 1,000 yards. It's not that.
It's not like everybody acts like Najee had this like Derrick Henry season, you know.
I didn't say that. I'm not saying
I watched Henry. I watched Najee for 4 years. He had decent years. Like he barely hit 1,000 yards in his first 1,000 first 4 years.
Him and Warren were a good compliment to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Now you only have Warren. So who else is going to compliment Warren? Like I don't know who your depth chart is right now. I don't know who you guys signed. Warren was the main reason Najee did so good because Warren, he's more explosive than Najee. Najee just powered, and the only way like he gets the speed if he gets through that first gear. If he gets through that first level, then he cooks. But Najee, most of the time, he'll get the ball. He has no speed, so you can hit him in the background and go for his legs. Yeah, but that also comes back to your O-line, too, dude. If your O-line's not blocking, it's going to make it easier for your running back not to get yards.
He had 4 yards of carry last year.
What was Stiller's offensive rushing attack last year? I don't remember. I think
Well, you told me
we had a better.
the numbers dropped off after Justin Fields left for quarterback, which makes
Yeah, when Justin Fields was in the game, he was averaging like
more yardage.
he was averaging like 5 yards a carry, and then as soon as Russell came
with Justin Fields.
As soon as Russell came in, Najee was only averaging 3.9. Najee on the
You would expect
Najee's
a running back
Najee's good, but he's not like this beast as everybody points him out to be.
No one's saying he's a beast, man. But y'all once again lowballed a player and could have kept him. Like he's
but you're acting like Najee is God.
What? Who the hell's saying he's God, dude?
You keep on saying, Najee's this beast. What's so beast about him? I watched him for 4 years.
Did I say beast? No, I did not. I said Najee's a good player that y'all cut or let go of that you could have kept.
I'm not gonna miss him. Good luck in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he's gonna kick ass in Los Angeles. Just you watch. He'll probably have another 1,000 yards and probably about 10 touchdowns.
1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. That's what he would do here.
That may be true to an essence, but a lot of running backs still don't get 1,000 yards in a 16-game season. They don't even come close to it. So I mean, 12 games to 16, 17 games, actually 17. So I mean, it's harder.
Look at Brett.
Easier to get 1,000 yards in 17 games, but if you don't get it, that means that you know, it's extra weird. I don't know. I'm just saying that
it was terrible in pass protection. They were good at run blocking.
We'll have to see. Because like I said, who's behind Warren? It's Warren, and who's your other running back?
Probably going to be a rookie.
You know. Okay. So y'all probably going to draft one. Okay, I got you.
Probably a rookie. Could be. We could sign I forgot. J.K. Dobbins. He could be an option.
I would not take J.K. Dobbins. That guy's probably going to retire soon. He keeps getting knee injury after knee injury. I would just draft.
Yeah, he's an injury-prone guy too.
I would just draft one. Just there's deep enough running backs where you can get a good running back later.
Mm-hmm. Like I guarantee that's where we're going to go next. They're going to get another running back.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. It might not be until the second or third. It'll probably be in the third round.
J.K. Dobbins did good last year. He had 195 attempts for 905 yards.
You know who I like for y'all, Mad? I like that Johnson guy from Iowa. I don't know his first name, but that guy would be a good compliment to Warren because Warren's more of a scat back, kind of a speed back. That Johnson guy would be a good addition to y'all's team. And he's hard nosed, and he's a good blocker, and he came from Iowa, so he's hard nosed and smash mouth.
I like that Jukins.
Oh, Caleb Johnson.
Judkins, yeah.
Judkins.
Yeah, Judkins is good too. He's got more bursts. I like Judkins, but I think Johnson would be a really good fit for y'all, especially if you talk about blocking.
I think they're more likely going to sign a free agent than maybe. They know, but I'm leaning more towards free agent J.K. Dobbins more than anything.
I would not take J.K. Dobbins, bro. That's not an upgrade over Najee Harris. You got to upgrade that position, not downgrade.
Well, J.K. Dobbins had good stats last year.
What did B say? Best availability is availability.
And J.K. Dobbins played more than half the season last year. I don't think he missed a game.
Yeah, he missed games. He missed games when it counted too. That's the thing. Let's see. He missed.
Is Najee Harris the main running back in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yep. Because they also got rid of what's his face too.
Gus Edwards. The Gus Bus.
Gus Edwards.
Right. I'm not gonna sit here and trash Najee Harris, but we're gonna find out how good he really is next year.
Well, Harbaugh I wouldn't put anything past them, man. They love to run the football there.
So let's see. 17 times 4 is what? 58 games. Out of 58 games, J.K. Dobbins has played 37 of them. That's a lot of time missed. Let's see what he did here. That's an individual yardage.
Hey, even if it starts this on J.K. Dobbins, he won't be the starter. That's going to be Warren. Warren's the starter.
Well, anyway, we are running out of time, folks. We can continue this conversation tomorrow. Again, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, One Ass Cheek, Three Toes. I'm your host, BSTRILLA. I got the Matt Yinzer here. And, of course, my guy, Nate the Great.
Have a good one.
Y'all have a very good afternoon, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you later, fellas.